We are talking about the reports which are used for correspondence, especially in commerce. We know that lot of reports are available, lot of reports have to be made. Okay, so there are two types of reports. One is statutory report, other is non-statutory report. Digo. There are two types of report. One is statutory report. One second. Statutory, I just missed out that and come. One is statutory report, other is non-statutory report. Non-statutory. Children, boys, अब इतना आराम से 7 बजे 8 बजे बात नहीं करेगा, उसके लिए थोड़ा 10 बजे के बाद. Okay, there are two types. मैडम पेन किधर है, 2 साल से मिलता नहीं है. हाँ, नोटबुक तो भूल ही गया ना. Yes, come on, take down the points. Statutory reports and non-statutory report. Statutory report में there are 3 reports. First is the statutory report itself. Statutory report. Second is annual report. Take down the points. Third is auditor's report. Auditor's report. There are 3 statutory reports. First one is the statutory report itself, then annual report, then auditor's report. I am talking about the company's point of view. Okay, what are the non-statutory reports? Non-statutory report में first one is progress report. आपका report card के जैसा. Progress report. Next is committee report. Report writing is a very important art. सबको सीखना पड़ेगा. Committee report. Last one is research report. Research report. Non-statutory reports are of 3 types: progress report, committee report, and research report. I hope you have taken down. Now we are just going to discuss what do you mean by statutory reports. Okay. I'm rubbing it down. I'm discussing statutory report. Statutory report. I think in SP you might have studied all these things to a great extent according to my best of knowledge. So this is the part of section 165 of Companies Act. This is the part of objective में पूछ सकता है. Section 165 of Companies Act. आपको मालूम है हर कंपनी को Companies Act के अनुसार ही काम कर सकता है. So this is the part of 165 of Companies Act. Directors must prepare the report and send it to the members 21 days before statutory meeting. So directors of the company, hello इधर उधर देखना नहीं चाहिए. The last 2 girls, अभी जो जाता है ना, उसको बुलाओ, करो, कर बैठो, करो. So when the statutory reports will be prepared, the boys who are sitting without the notebook and the pen, please, you will have to go out of the class. Statutory reports will be prepared 21 days before the board meeting, before the statutory meeting. And who will prepare the statutory meeting? This statutory report, directors. Some people are not listening, especially boys. Statutory reports will be prepared by the board of directors. Okay, board of directors will prepare वो कब प्रिपेयर करने का है? 21 days prior to the annual general body meeting or statutory meeting. कंपनी में एक मीटिंग है, कल मीटिंग है, आज नोटिस नहीं भेज सकता है, मिनिमम 21 days टाइम देना पड़ेगा एंड वो 21 days टाइम के अंदर स्टैट्यूटरी रिपोर्ट भी भेजना पड़ेगा. Why 21 days are required? Children, the 3-week time members have to go through the reports, and suppose that they are having some queries, they can write, they have to put an email so that in the meeting this query can be discussed. Even the directors will be prepared and they will be coming for the meeting. Similarly, members will also be prepared because they are having the copy of the statutory report. Statutory report indicates what? Statutory report, what all things we will be discussing. That is very interesting for the commerce student. Total number and the types of shares. Total number and the types of shares. Total number and the types of shares allotted. And the amount received. Total number and the types of the shares allotted and the amount received. You are aware that company will be having different types of shares. It does not mean that all the shares should be listed shares. There are preferential allotted shares. Okay. And there are different types of shares. So company is giving 100 shares to Mr. X. So how much money Mr. X has paid and where that money got reflected. Everything should be included in the statutory meeting. Because suppose that company is going for IPO. Initial, call that boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get up. Directly wrong है आपने आपके पीछे, आप बराबर है आपके पीछे, बुलाओ उसको, ऐसा बैठेगा इधर आओ. Directly wrong है, उधर बैठो. Second point is name, address. Name, address, boys are not writing, and occupation of directors. देखो इधर बैठकर. Occupation of directors. Name, address, and occupation of directors and auditors. Children, this is very important. Name, address, and occupation of the directors and auditors. My question is why this should be the part of statutory report? That's my question. This you have studied in 12th standard. Why this, address, occupation of the directors and auditors, why it should be mentioned separately and clearly? See, suppose that I am going through the balance sheet of the company. As far as I am concerned, first I will be going through who are the board of directors members. What is their qualification? So many times, once we see the qualification, we judge, about that company. If the directors are fully qualified, well qualified, naturally working of the company will be much more professional. So that is why the name, address of and the occupation, what the director is doing. Many times, you see that all the good companies, they will be having, it does not mean that all the auditors should be engineers, they should do MBA from IIM. There is no need. But what is their industrial experience and what type of background they are having? Hello, this side. Announce. Yes, come on. You are not going to become the part of the football team. So you listen this. So we were discussing that another one. So we were discussing that the qualification of the director, the experience of the director, address of the director, everything should be very clearly mentioned in the annual report. Look, why the auditor's address and details are important. Many times, auditor is the one who knows, the working of the company. He is the one who has signed in the profit and loss statement of the company. So the auditor's address is very important to find out how professional the auditor is. Is it a small auditor, or is it a firm, or is it a professional firm? So this, by looking through all this, you get a clear idea, comparatively a clear idea how that company is working. That is why whenever you are getting the balance sheet, front page, the first 3-4 pages, you will get all this information. Nowadays, no need of waiting for the physical copy of the balance sheet. You can get it, download it from the site. So company ka website mein jao, udhar you can see that. Who are the directors? What are their qualification? Okay, aisa dekhne par, Reliance ka board of directors dekhne par, they are not so highly qualified people. But there are some company, you take the case of the current startup. Current startup mein, most of them are highly qualified. But don't think that qualification counts or qualification alone counts. Qualification is important plus industry experience. Because industry experience on per, that director can advise the company in a better manner. Then they say that details of the contract entered by the company. Because this is important, you will have to see that. Details of the contract entered by the company. Details of the contract entered by the company. Konsa contract, some girls are looking again here and there. Means since inception. Since inception. Incorporation or inception, both are same. Inception matlab starting date. Starting date se abhi tak company kitna contract mein enter kiya hai, what is the amount and how far the contract is completed. That is something more important. For example, companies like Infosys, Tata Consultancy Limited, TCS, Wipro, they are having lot of foreign assignments. So आपको ये मालूम होना चाहिए ये assignment कब assign हुआ है company को और कितना तक हुआ है, बराबर time पर complete किया गया. Because these are all the foreign assignments. If you are not completing it in time, then naturally second time company will not get such type of contract. So all these things will be reflected in the statutory report of the company. Next one is annual report. Annual report, you can talk to me. You have studied this. Aisa baithega madam kidhar hai, hum suna bhi nahi. Annual report. You are very well aware annual report is prepared once in a year. Yearly report is इसलिए बोला once in a year. नहीं madam, yearly. ठीक है. Okay, it is prepared yearly or once in a year. You are very well aware annual report is a summary of profit and loss statement. Annual report is the summary of profit and loss statement of the company. इसलिए AGM के पहले एनुअल जनरल बॉडी मीटिंग के पहले सब शेयर होल्डर्स को एक कॉपी मिलेगा. ओके, वो एनुअल रिपोर्ट का कॉपी आएगा. एनुअल रिपोर्ट में सबसे पहला everybody will be checking only the profit and loss of the company in that particular year. Company, we will say that YOY, year to year. Last year में कितना profit था, अभी कितना profit है. Whether it has increased, whether it has decreased. If so, what is the reason? Increase, well and good. What's the reason? Decrease, it's not good. What is the reason for that? So that will be reflected. Another is that there will be reflection of company's total sales, product performance, and the problems. Product performance and the problems. Even this will be reflected in the annual meeting, in the annual report. Now, what is the total sale of the company, whether the sale has improved, or what are the special problems that the company has faced, especially during the COVID period. They faced a number of problems because many employees could not report to their company. They have gone to their native place. They did not come back. Then many people, they were working from home. Though we say that madam, work from home is very interesting, children, please understand, only for the software people, work from home is a typically accepted system. Remaining, other industry and all, work from home will not be every time possible. Because you are aware that during this pandemic period, I'm talking about March 25th when the first lockdown was introduced, 2 years before. That period itself, you know that commercial banks were working without any break. आपको मालूम है, all the banks were working. बैंक को कभी भी छुट्टी नहीं मिला, and insurance company को कभी छुट्टी नहीं मिला. Stock exchanges, they were all working. So you can imagine there are certain jobs which cannot be done at home. People have to be present. So here, what type of problems company is facing? Even if the problems are, smaller in quantity or lesser in quantity, that has to be sorted it out. Thank you, my dear. Yes, come on. So you understood that college is going to celebrate OASIS physically as well as hybrid model, and you should participate. That is something more important. Your college life is slowly getting restarted. Look, children, name of the directors. Annual report of the company should be having name of the directors, means who are going to retire by rotation. Commerce student can explain to me much better. You know that none of the directors are permanent. They are appointed for 2 years. They are appointed for 3 years, rotation basis. 3 year के बाद अपने आप वो लोग change हो जाएगा. Then there will be re-election. So who are the directors who are going to retire? और उसका जगह पर कौन आने वाला है? All this information will be mentioned in the annual body, in the annual reports. Okay. Now we are talking about auditor's report. This you will have to explain to me. Tell me, auditor's report में क्या आएगा? Auditor report. Auditor's report में क्या क्या आएगा? आवाज किधर गया? हाँ, कंपनी का अकाउंट्स, लेकिन ऑडिट रिपोर्ट में हमको क्या देखना चाहिए, कैसा होना चाहिए? You are very well aware, Cooper and Price Waterhouse, they are the leading chartered accountant in India as well as all over the world. लेकिन वही कंपनी का audited reports many times controversy में जाता है, because so many companies are getting closed, so many companies are incurring huge loss. What time? Why the companies are closing down? Because annual auditor ka report does not reflect what has to be reflected. That is the main thing. Auditor, though the firm is very, very famous, Price Waterhouse and Cooper House is so famous, auditor firm, but even then, they are also sometimes hiding the fact. So a good audit report should not hide the fact. It should give the correct picture of the company. What's the reason? Shareholders are reading only that report, auditor report. So why report में बराबर financials नहीं दिखाया, जिधर जिधर रेवेन्यू का लीकेज है वो सब नहीं दिखाने पर ऑटोमेटिकली वो शेयर, वो कंपनी का परफॉर्मेंस we will not be getting a clear picture. That's why one of the very important quality of an auditor is they have to be honest enough. They have to be quite transparent. So audit report में क्या होगा? This is something important, children. Maintenance of the books of the company. Maintenance of the books of the company. That is books of accounts. Maintenance of books of accounts of the company for a year. Maintenance of the books of accounts of the company. Then, as you said, correctness of the annual report prepared by the company. That is an audited statement. Correctness of the annual report. Correctness of the annual report. सबसे important है certification. Certification by the auditor. Certification by the auditor. Certification by the auditor. So annual general body meeting में, annual report first the company is preparing, then it will go before the auditor for the final signature. Only the audited statement that is having the value. Annual report will not be having the value until and unless it is audited by a certified auditor. So certified auditor क्या करना चाहिए? First he has to check maintenance of books of account, whether company is maintaining books of account perfectly or not. Even if 1 rupee, 10 rupees is spent for Xerox, that 10 rupee का bill भी होना चाहिए, narration भी होना चाहिए. 10 lakh rupees is given as honorarium to a director. Even that should be reflected in the balance sheet. That is what the auditor is checking. They are checking all the books of accounts of the company. Every expenditure should be having the supporting document. Or company, I don't know whether I have seen it. कौन सा भी company का balance sheet देखने पर, generally first we will look the net profit. Gross profit से भी पहले net profit ही देखेगा because it is after the taxation. Then we will look into the reserve of the company. Company का balance sheet में जितना reserve है, higher the reserve, better the report. Because the more and more reserve company is able to keep means later company can declare bonus share or company can utilize it for expansion. So आप भी कल balance sheet मिलने पर ही देखना पड़ेगा. Shareholders कितना है, net profit कैसा है, YOY year to year how the net profit is working. Then I told you that after the net profit we will be checking the reserve fund. Okay, then there is another column other incomes. Balance sheet means there is a column other income. I told I am not an accounts person. Still, out of the experience we are talking to you, other income. You will have to check out that column. Because if you are carefully reading some company ka last year's annual report, that is 2021 ka other income, maybe it is 6 crore, example. 21-22 ka other income ka report, maybe it is 60 crore. So naturally you will have to find out from where this other income has come. Itna jyada other income kidhar se aa gaya? Sometimes company might have sold some property. Okay, generally company writes at the end, a other source ka, a source kidhar hai? Then what is important is, so once we go through all these points, even the auditor will be checking that other source ka income ka source kidhar hai? Or company might have created some extra shares. So what is the reason for this other source? Hello, hello. Yes. Let us come to the point. As far as we were discussing the statutory reports today, tomorrow when you are going to work in the account section of the company, please remember that you have to see all the points what we discussed today. Your annual report, your statutory report and the audited report. That is why it is said that then finally the auditor has to certify. Madam, वो तो कोई भी नहीं करे, कोई भी करेगा, कोई नहीं करेगा. Only the CA person can sign. उसका stamp, उसका number, everything. Hello.